There are discoveries in science that fill us with wonder, triumph, and pride, as if the universe is rewarding humanity for daring to reach beyond its limits. But there are also discoveries that do the opposite. They leave us unsettled, shaken, and afraid to even ask the questions they raise. That is exactly what has just happened with Voyager 1, humanity's most distant spacecraft, now more than 24 billion kilometers from Earth. For decades, Voyager 1 has been a quiet traveler, drifting through interstellar space beyond the reach of our solar system. Its mission, launched in 1977, was meant to last a few years, study Jupiter and Saturn, send back data and images, and then carry on into the unknown. No one could have imagined it would still be alive nearly 50 years later, still transmitting signals across the darkness. It has crossed the heliopause, the boundary where the influence of our Sun ends and the true interstellar void begins. For years, its faint signals have provided humanity with precious data about cosmic rays, magnetic fields, and the density of space itself. But recently, something changed. What began as subtle anomalies in the data soon escalated into something that defied all explanation. Strange repetitions and patterns began appearing in its transmissions. At first, these were dismissed as glitches, the product of Voyager's aging hardware. But then came an image file, unlike anything the spacecraft had ever sent before. The picture was blurred, distorted by distance and the limitations of its cameras, yet within the static, unmistakable shapes emerged. Instead of empty blackness, the image revealed bands of light and shadow, curves and repeating nodes that looked eerily like a structure, something geometric, ordered, and artificial. NASA was quick to suggest corruption in the transmission, a failure in the probe's fragile systems. Yet independent analysts who reviewed the raw data disagreed. The repeating geometry was too precise, too deliberate, to be dismissed as noise. Even more unsettling, the patterns within the image aligned with mathematical constants, harmonic ratios, golden proportions, the same principles found in architecture and music. This was not chaos. This was design. Behind the scenes, the mood shifted from excitement to alarm. Reports leaked that NASA had held multiple closed-door meetings about the implications of the image. The fear was not simply about what Voyager had photographed, but about what it meant. How could something so massive, so ordered, exist undetected at the edge of our solar system? Why had no telescope ever seen it before? And why now, after nearly 50 years of silence, was Voyager the one to capture it? The unsettling truth was that the strange geometry in the image mirrored the strange structured signals that Voyager had begun transmitting earlier in the year. Fragments of repeating data sequences, patterns too ordered to be random, now seemed connected to what the image revealed. It was no longer possible to dismiss the anomalies as technical failures. The evidence pointed to something else. Voyager was not just observing space, it was interacting with it. That raised a terrifying question. Was Voyager still under human control? Built with 1970s technology, its systems were simple by modern standards, incapable of complex behavior. Yet now, its transmissions seemed to carry patterns it should not be capable of generating. Some argued that the spacecraft had entered a region of space where physics itself behaved differently. Others suggested a darker possibility. Voyager had encountered something alive, something aware, and it was now being used as a conduit. If true, then the image it returned was not just a photograph. It was a message. What made the situation even more disturbing was the precision of the geometry. Analysts noticed harmonic divisions and golden ratio sequences embedded in the structure, mathematical signatures that nature rarely produces at such scale. If this was natural, it required physics beyond anything we know. If it was not natural, then humanity had just stumbled upon technology, or intelligence, far beyond our comprehension. Very quickly, NASA's openness vanished. Updates that once celebrated every faint signal became muted and vague. The official Voyager page released only generic statements. Scientists declined interviews. Intelligence agencies reportedly stepped in, and the probe's data was suddenly locked behind classified channels. To the public, it looked like silence. To those paying attention, it looked like fear. Among researchers, speculation spread. Voyager carried with it the golden record, a time capsule of humanity with greetings, sounds, and images meant for whoever might one day discover it. What if the spacecraft's encounter was not coincidence? What if something had found it, and responded? Theories ranged from an alien artifact orbiting unseen, to a monitoring station placed near the edge of our system, to something stranger still. An intelligence not built of metal or stone, but woven into the very fabric of space. Then came another shock. Buried within Voyager's transmissions were sequences that looked like code, binary-like repetitions that did not match any instrument output. Some dismissed this as radiation damage, but cryptographers insisted the structure was too clean, too deliberate. If it was code, then Voyager was no longer speaking for itself. Something else was speaking through it. The image it returned, with its impossible geometry and deliberate order, may not be a discovery at all, but a warning. The silence from NASA, the secrecy, the sudden involvement of intelligence agencies, all suggest that what Voyager